Hello everyone, this is Taylor with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service and only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the Arkansas River Basin. Thanks so much for viewing today, and it's early March, and we're here today to talk about the Arkansas River Tailwater and the fly fishing conditions and suggested tactics for springtime. Really exciting to be, moving into the spring season. The last several weeks have been very, very warm. Weather's been very positive, and that's really kind of pulled us out of a bit more inconsistent technical time period on the Arkansas Tailwater. Although we did very, very well in February, we've now moved into a time period where we're seeing a heavier occurrence of emergent BWO activity, blue-winged olive activity, which has really triggered a bit more consistent fishing, and we're just seeing fish more active throughout the day. Moving into springtime, we obviously see continuation of heavy pressure. On some days, you'll see a lot of pressure, especially the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, within Lake Pueblo State Park especially, and around the Nature Center. But we've, had some great days. Even on those busy days, our guides are very, very productive down on the Arkansas Tailwater, and it's just a fantastic venue in the springtime, not only in the winter as it's known to be, but spring is just fantastic. Now, one thing I always like to talk about is spawning fish, and with the vast majority of the trout population being in the rainbow trout category, this is the time period where we do see those fish spawning, mock spawning. Although success rate for spawning isn't super high on the Arkansas Tailwater, it is key for us to understand that it's not ethical to fish to spawning fish. So if you see, a few fish paired up, group of fish on what we call red, which is a clean patch of gravel on the riverbed, and you see them in the open, okay, and grouped up like that, those fish are actively spawning. Please do not target those fish. There are plenty of other fish that are feeding, deeper lies, deeper tail outs, riffles, so on and so forth. So just a little information about that, and we always talk about that on the Upper Arkansas, on the Freestone section, and as well as the South Platte, because we're guiding a lot on the South Platte, so that's obviously key just to understand from an ethical standpoint within fly fishing. As far as what's to come condition-wise, right now we're sitting at around 90 CFS out of the dam on the tailwater, plus an additional 25 to 30 CFS out of the hatchery, so right around 120 CFS below the hatchery. We will, based on historical flows throughout the year, we will see an increase in release here upcoming, and usually that occurs, starting in late March through early April. Very, very fishable from a wade standpoint, typically in early April, and then it turns into more of a float fishery. Not so much a float fishery from the public standpoint, but as far as how we guide the tailwater, as soon as we start to see about 600, 700 CFS, we are running float trips instead of wade trips on the tailwater. So that's kind of how we get after that fishery at that point in time. And then obviously, as we move into the runoff time period on the Upper Arkansas, you'll start to see increased release up into the 2,000 CFS range historically. Based on snowpack this year, which is a bit below average on the Arkansas River Basin, we should see right around that flow most likely, maybe over 3,000 for a few days, something like that. Okay? So should have great wadeable flows through early April, unless something unforeseen happens. Lake Pueblo is very full at this point in time, so they may start releasing water a little bit earlier, and they may release a little bit more water than typical when we go into April. So you may see flows in that 400 to 600 range a bit sooner than we expect. Okay, still very fishable at that level, and fish really feed heavily when we start to see those releases in the spring. Okay. As for right now, it's going to maintain a relatively technical fishery, although that's kind of turned a corner a bit here over the last couple weeks with the warmer temps. Blue-winged olives will be key in smaller sizes, 18 through 22. And then also our midge life cycle, your larva, pupa, and adults, obviously. As we kind of move into late March, we see a little bit heavier activity within the caddisfly population. We may see some tricos hatching. We fish a lot of smaller cranefly larvae as well. We also fish smaller stoneflies as we and we're talking size, 14 through 18 stonefly imitations. And although that's a small population within the bug population on the tailwater, there are a few of those kicking around. So that's kind of what we look at. I'd like to show you a few patterns that we specifically like that you might find in our guides boxes. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's take a peek here at what we might find in our guides boxes as we move into the springtime period on the Arkansas tailwater. Like we mentioned before, a heavy emphasis on the midge and BWO category as always, with the mixing in some attractors, caddis, crane flies, maybe a small stonefly or two, and some small leech patterns will be successful for you as well. So let's start with our midge category, upper left here. We've got Juan Ramirez's flux capacitor. Okay, just a fantastic representation here, in that red category, maturing midge. We've also got Juan Ramirez's money midge. That's a flash money midge there that we're looking at. Tungsten tube midge, if you want a little bit of heavier representation, that's Landon Mayer's pattern. In our pupa category, as we're kind of getting into the pupa life cycle stage, you've got a medallion midge, that's Pat Dorsey's. Kind of in our subsurface film, maybe even fish it as a dry. We've got Theoannis melting pot midge. This is one we love on the freestone section as well. Morgan's paramidge, that's a true adult there. Okay, got a little shuck hanging off. Great midge pattern in size 20 through 24. Then moving on to the BWO category, two-bit hooker purple. Really love our darker colors still in the spring, and that two-bit hooker is a fantastic pattern. Next, we've got, again, one of Juan Ramirez's patterns, and that's the Slim Shady, 2 tungsten beads in the purple category as well. We've got Shea Gunkel's Shot Glass in that dark olive. Okay, another good nymph. In the BWO emerger category, we've got what we call a loopwing emerger. Great pattern in a 2022. Dwayne Redford's butt crack Baetis. I know, funny name, but excellent BWO emerger in the spring. Moving into the adult category within your BWO life cycle, we want slight profile. This is the Awanadun. Fantastic pattern on the upper Arkansas and on the tailwater. And then the Hackle Stacker. Both very slight profile flies, okay? And then, as we kind of move into our attractor nymph category, always want some, varying colors of worms to fish and worm patterns to fish. And we love Euro nymphing, so this is a jig style on a competition hook with the tungsten beads. So, red, browns, pinks on those. This is called a wonky worm. It's a kind of a cross between a standard chenille worm and squirmy worm with the synthetic kind of rubber material. Tungsten bead, that's a good one. Moving into our caddis category, this is just a standard caddis larva. Tungsten bead, small profile, size 16 and 18 works best. This is a chartreuse jujube midge, and that guy is actually fished as a caddis larva, size 18, and it's trying to cling to my tweezer there, but that's a fantastic fly in chartreuse. Okay, we've got next up just a small stonefly representation, and that's a Matt Damon stone, and kind of a yellow Sally representation, but like I said, smaller stoneflies down there during that time period, and then during the spring time period, and then cranefly larva, something that people don't fish a lot on the tailwater, but there are quite a few cranefly larvae kicking around, as well as on the upper river, and that's kind of a cream colored called a CZ crane. On your caddis dry, because we will see some caddis hatching down there in the spring, this is called a front end loader. Don't get crazy with your adult caddis, but yeah, doesn't hurt to carry one in the springtime. Do love to dead drift a leech in the spring. This is Landon Mayer's jig style mini leech. Olive, we love it in olive, brown, and black. This is called a junior mint. That's a thin mint tied on a jig hook in very small size. Another good leech representation. If you want to throw a bigger streamer, slump busters are great. This is a natural hot cone slump buster. Keep it simple. Not a big streamer game in the spring on the tailwater, but you can definitely find some nice fish doing that. Okay, folks, so hopefully that'll give you a good idea of kind of what to focus on pattern-wise. Obviously, things change on a daily basis, so that's just a snapshot. If you'd like really in-depth information, obviously stop by the fly shop here 2 miles west of Canyon City. Call us, 888-994-6743, extension 1 for the fly shop. Or you can use our chat line at www.ruralgorgeanglers.com. That's all live during business hours, so 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. that chat line's live. One of our guides or fly shop staff can help you directly with any questions you have on flies, rigging, so on and so forth. Like I said, conditions will be evolving, changing as we move into the month of April. And, historical water years, by looking at that data, typically that's when we start to see the tailwater start to release a little bit. The lake is full, so we may see a little bit more of that here upcoming in the next few weeks as well. As of right now, conditions are excellent, pretty low, kind of right where they usually are in early March, but fishing has been very, very productive and will only get better really as we move through the month of March into April. Do pay attention. We really have an exclusive program on float fishing the Arkansas tailwater. So when flows get too high to wade, we're out there in our boulder boats. Our guides are fishing like madmen. Excellent time to go down there and fish because nobody's there. Nobody. When the flows get over 1400 CFS, we're the only game in town. And so if you'd like to see the river from a little bit different perspective and really see those larger fish that you don't see when the pressure's heavy from the wade standpoint, look at potentially booking a float with us from, say, early May through July, August. Great time to kind of see the river from a different perspective and see if you can't hook a really big fish. So much fun. Those trips are so much fun. And like I said, it's like your own private little tailwater. We float it all the way up to 4,000, 4,500 CFS. We were floating it with very good success last year, even at those giant flows we experienced last season. Also, one other very important item. We hope you'll join us for our giant 30th anniversary celebration on Saturday, March 21st. Again, that's Saturday, March 21st. We'll be celebrating 30 years in business, third oldest fly shop in the state of Colorado. Gonna have some excellent headlining presenters here. Pat Dorsey from the Blue Quill Angler, Greg Garcia, the manager of Anglers All in Denver, Ty Clifton, who's a spay, wet fly, streamer specialist. Gonna be just a ton of fun. We'll have thousands of dollars of door prizes. We'll have free beer. We'll have wood-fired pizzas on site. Our sponsors, Boulder Boat Works, Fired Up Pizza, they're gonna really go all out for that stuff. In-store classes, and seating is first come, first serve on that stuff, but those are all free. Tying, venue seminars, so on and so forth. We'll also be giving out a free prize to the first 25 customers through the door. Doors open at 8 a.m. Can't wait to see you on Saturday, March 21st. All of our reps on hand. So if you want to cast any new fly rods, look at new product, ask questions, all of our guides will be here as well. If you'd like to inquire about booking a trip later in the season, so on and so forth. Great time to come, just hang out, socialize with other anglers. Should be several hundred people in attendance. Going to be a lot of fun. So join us Saturday, March 21st. Hope to see you there. 30 years in business, going to be great. Give us a call at 888-994-6743, extension 1 for the fly shop. If you do have any questions, again, visit www.royalgorgeanglers.com. All of the flies that we showed you today are available for purchase online at our web store, along with thousands of other products. And then use our chat line at royalgorgeanglers.com. It's a great resource. And then, like I said, always available via email as well at info@royalgorgeanglers.com. Thanks so much for viewing today. Have a fantastic spring on the water. We hope to see you in the fly shop or on the water soon.